So you're saying in Franklin County, she needs to get 55% of the vote?
Yes. Around. I mean, I don't have it calculated. Uh-oh.
What? It has
tied.
up, and you know what just happened?
What?
Franklin County just came in. He is at 55% of the vote, though, right at the target that we just said.
Right at the target. She has a shot.
She has a shot here, folks. It's not impossible. This is huge. Remember, we said this was going to determine the election.
Yes.
He's at 55% of the vote. If she can cut into that at all,
right, although
she
if those
could
are the
win.
early votes, she won't, but who knows? Yeah. And how much of Davidson is left?
Davidson has not
Almost
moved.
half.
Davidson has not moved. Wow, this is really coming down to the wire.
Down to the wire.
He is right now at 0.27% ahead. Am I doing my math correctly? He has just jumped up 0.02% in that. As I was saying that sentence.
But that was after that big dump from a very heavily Republican county that is not doing anywhere close to what Trump was doing.
That, like we said, this is about as realistically as best she could be doing right now after that initial dump.
That's what we said would be her target, somewhere around there.
If she can hold on to this or even dig into this a little bit, I think she can win. If she starts to slip in this county,
she can't.
She would probably be in trouble. He's at 67% in Robertson, and Trump was at 75%.
And what's she at?
And she's at 32% in Robertson County.
Right. So they've cut it down.
Woo! This is stressful, folks. This is stressful. We just got a donation in. Let me read it real quick. This is from DNA. They say, think Nashville puts her over by 2 or 3 points. Sam, just curious if you got an email. Oh, yes. Thank you, Diego. I did get your email. I appreciate that. Harry Chittenden says, if you've ever seen the history YouTuber Oversimplified, you'll know the line, quote, I didn't lose, I merely failed to win. George McClellan.
The general
from the Civil War.
Civil War general who was a bust as a general and lost by about 10 points to Lincoln in 1864.
Man, this is really getting tight, folks.
Couldn't be much tighter.
Couldn't be much tighter.
Less than a point separating them.
She's at 2% chance to win on Kalshi. So the prediction markets really do not think she's about to win, but it's pretty damn close. I'm sorry, but it's pretty damn close. Yeah. I guess what they must be betting on is the fact that these are early votes that lean Democratic.
Right.
And she's only going to lose ground
in the later votes. That's what they're betting on.
So I'm assuming right now, we have 58% of the vote in. I'm assuming right now it's the vast majority of these votes are early votes. But in these bright red counties, again, they're tiny counties. Wayne County on the border with Alabama has 85% of the vote in. No.
Yeah.
You don't see it? I'm looking at your face, and it seems to me like you don't see it.
Wow. This could not be closer.
Regardless.
It all depends if she holds around 55% in Williamson.
Nashville has gone down in votes in somehow. It was at 56% of votes in, and now it's at 55% of votes in.
Margin of error.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
They probably found some more votes. That happens.
Now Wayne County is at over 95% of the vote in. Again, it's a tiny county, so maybe
still.
Perry County is at over 95% of the votes in. Decatur County is at over 95% of the votes in. So these three, very rural, very red counties, they're done. He's not going to make up any ground in these counties.
How about that light blue county? I can't read what it is.
That's Montgomery County we were talking about earlier. 59% of the vote is in. Last time we checked, she was at 51%. She slipped to 50%. So this might be, he's gone up a little bit more.
But that's because there's still nothing from Nashville.
Still no more votes in from Nashville.
These votes are probably coming in from these finishing up the rural counties.
Yeah, 87% from Houston, only 40. Yeah, we looked at these three southern Nash district counties are done.
How about the fourth one to the east?
That is 75% of the vote in.
Yeah. Those are his strongholds.
Right, but they're also tiny counties.
Right.
I think it'll come down to what happens in Franklin, Montgomery, and Davidson.
No question.
Maybe Robertson, too.
Yeah,
Robertson, Montgomery.
What's the percentage for Robertson?
45% of the vote in. He's still at 67%. I haven't seen that move recently. Gosh, this is really coming down to the wire, folks. He is now...
Here's what we can say for sure.
Okay, say it.
No matter who wins,
right,
this is going to be a huge, huge boost to the Democrats.
Right.
A district that a few months ago was totally written off. 15 to 20% loss. It's down to the wire.
Now, is there any possibility that she can get up to 86, 87% in Nashville?
Anything's possible.
If she does that,
unlikely.
It seems unlikely, but I think if she does that, she wins.
I agree.
But like we've been hearing, it seems like the early votes that were in were early votes, which lean Democrats. So the chances are she'll probably slip a little bit.
Yes.
Let's check in with Kalshi. She's at less than 1% on Kalshi right now.
Wow.
I agree her chances of winning are diminishing. I don't think she's out yet. That's me.
I don't think she's out, but I think, the most likely outcome is he wins by a point or two.
Eric says, no, she's not going to get to 87% in Nashville.
I don't think so either.
Probably not.
Probably not.
So really it comes down to these three counties, I think.
4 counties, right.
If she can hold her lead in Montgomery, maybe even get back up to 51, 52%. If she can make any room in Robertson, even a percentage, and same with this, if she can make up a percentage in Williamson.
And hold 85.
But again, it's probably the same logic in these counties.
Yeah.
The initial vote dump was leaning Democratic, so the chances are she's probably not going to gain. She's probably either going to hold or slip.
Right.
And if that happens, she will lose.
Yes.
Look, anything can happen. I would say the math at this exact moment is probably not on her side. Again, I'm basing this all on the fact that they're telling us that these are early votes that came first.
That's the total, right. That's what we're basing it on.
Because that's what this guy, Nate Cohen, is saying. Typically, he reports it's early votes first.
Yes.
Okay, if that's the case,
she's going to lose.
She's going to lose.
Right.
If I can't imagine he made a mistake, right?
No. Can't imagine. What's our poll?
Our poll is 67% say Ben is going to win.
Still,
but
how many votes?
I don't think you can change your vote. So I think when she was up, I think a lot of people voted for her.
For her, right. I mean, she's in striking distance.
Oh, no doubt.
And we understand the early versus the late votes, but anything is possible.
I'm losing a little bit of optimism on her.
Yeah. But boy, is it going to be close.
Now, what if people demand a recount?
That could happen. I also don't know what they do with provisional ballots in Tennessee. Those are ballots cast by people whose registration or ID or something is in question, and they then have to decide whether to count them or not, and those heavily favor the Democrats. I don't know if there are, just a few hundred or 1,000 of those. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's an excellent question. I mean, in a race, usually those votes don't really matter, but in a race this close, they could really matter.
Anything could matter, yeah.
I imagine provisional ballots are counted last. Usually they are.
They are almost always counted last.
We are at nothing changed in Davidson County, a.k.a. the city of Nashville. Nothing has changed. She's still at 50% in Montgomery County. He's still at 67% in Robertson County. And he's still at 55% in Williamson.
Nothing's changed.
So we've not seen anything change. If you're just tuning in, our analysis is that these 3 counties, Williamson,
4 counties.
Well, Nashville, something has just changed. 60% of the vote in. He has taken a big leap
jump.
in that. He went up 0.9%. Unfortunately, folks, I think it's over for Ben.
Where did that come from?
I don't know exactly. Still the same
Not
in
there.
Montgomery. Still the same in
Not there.
Robertson.
Not
Still
there.
the same. It was, I think, this county, Williamson County.
Yeah, where he went up to 59.
Yeah, he was at 55%, and
Yeah.
he just jumped to 59. He was at 55%,
Yeah.
and he just jumped to 59.
I mean,
if you were,
59 is way better than she had done than Harris
and he
had
has
done.
just taken a massive jump.
Yeah.
It's not looking good for Ben here. Let's see, where did those votes come in from? I think it was from Robertson County. I think he was at 67%, and now he's at 69%.
Well, this is what we expect, that the later votes are election day votes,
Right,
which will
right.
heavily favor Republicans. That's why you saw on Kalshi overwhelming betting on his winning.
Right. That makes sense.
But he ain't going to win in a landslide.
No. But unfortunately, I think it's over, folks.
I do too. But we're not leaving.
No, we're going to hang out. We're going to see what happens here.
Yeah, it's only 9:05.
Look, anything could happen, but the math is not
Math is
mathing for
bad.
her right now. I just realized that.
He went up even more.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Just realized that part of what I was showing was not on screen.
He went up to a 5.5 point lead.
Yeah, he is. Where are these votes? 69. She's still at 50% in Montgomery County. He did a jump. I don't know where those last votes came in. I don't see any difference in these four counties.
Yeah,
maybe,
I'm not sure either.
Maybe in one of these
Could have
counties.
been one of those.
Yeah.
Or a bunch of them.
Darn. And she is slipping. He just went up 0.6%. He just flipped Montgomery County. So she was up 50%. She had 50% of the vote in Montgomery County. He is now at 51%.
Yeah. I'm going to call it.
Okay, so what time is it? At 9:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, December 2nd, 2025. In the Tennessee 7th District Special Election results, Allan Litchman has called it for Van Epps.
Yes.
Well, there was a moment there we were excited.
I know, but
there
you
was a
can't
moment
make up
there
6 points.
that we felt like,
Almost 7 points.
but I think as we started to think about it a little bit more, think about this update from Nate Cohen about the early votes.
Yeah, we weren't aware of
Yeah, I think we started to realize, the math is not mathing here.
No, she had to be at 55, and was it Williamson? And she's slipped to 59, and she had to be ahead in Montgomery, and she slipped to 47.
She slipped behind. Yeah, Williamson. We said she had to keep it to 55%. She has not.
No.
And she has now lost the lead in Montgomery County. As more, I guess, a day of votes come in, which, in this day and age, lean more Republican. Cal, she is done for. He's at 99% chance to win.
Did we beat everyone in calling it?
I have no idea. I don't know. I haven't been following what other people have
I
called.
followed it in the New York Times. I did not.
Well, yeah, New York Times here, they haven't called it yet. And he's just tacking on his lead. He just went up 0.3%.
He's not going to win by this much.
No,
He's not going to win by 8 points, because when Davidson comes in, it's going to cut into it substantially, but not enough.
Not enough. There's not enough here in Davidson. And she's already at she's at 85%.
In Davidson?
Yeah.
Looks like 55 to me.
No, I mean, like, she has 85% of the vote. So,
Right.
yeah, it's not going to do a whole lot.
It's gonna make it really close.
Yeah.
If she had held to 55 and held her lead up top there, she had a really good chance of winning.
Yeah, I agree. But it doesn't look like it's in the cards for her.
No.
We'll see if
We called it.
we'll see if Nashville can help her out a little bit.
Oh, it will. It'll help her out a lot.
We're almost at 2,000 likes on this stream. We're at
All right.
1,700 likes. So if you go ahead and like this stream, that'll help a lot.
I don't see the AP calling it.
Oh, we definitely beat the AP. I wonder if Decision Desk has called it. Let's see.
Check that out.
Yes, they called it 2 minutes ago.
We beat them. We beat everyone.
Take that, Decision Desk.
Yes. We're always just ahead of Decision Desk.
Yes, Decision Desk. They're quick. They're really quick.
They're the quickest.
Yeah, they're the quickest of, bigger media outlets because they're not, the bigger media outlets are scared to call elections.
Right. They're still spooked by 2000 when they made the wrong calls.
Right. Yeah, she is not going to win this election.
No. And what turned it was when we learned that the earlier votes were from mail-in and early voting, and the later returns of Election Day, where Republicans are way ahead.
He just went up another 0.2%.
Yeah, what have we got? 2/3 in?
67% of the vote is now in.
Yeah. It's going to be close, way closer than anyone would have thought a little while ago.
Yeah.
Could be under 5 points.
Which again is, I don't know. I don't know if I believe in moral victory. I don't know if I believe in, we almost won. It's
but there is a narrative.
Sure.
There is a narrative, that Democrats cut the lead by 15 points. That's a narrative. Yeah. I don't believe in moral victories either, but, there will be Democrats at least will have a framing. Republicans, of course, will say, we won another seat. We beat those radical lunatic Democrats,
Right.
But Democrats will have a narrative.
Now, so they're just keeping a red seat. So this wasn't they're not flipping a seat, obviously.
Oh, no,
This is a deep red
not
district.
at all.
So the House will stay. The House was we forgot to mention that the House was in balance in this election, right?
The House was 219 to 213. Now becomes 220 to 213. It'll go down to 219 again early next month when MTG resigns.
Right.
So how much longer do you want to hang in here, Sam?
Let's see. It's 9:11. We've been going for an hour.
A little over an hour.
A little over an hour. Let's hang in for another 20 minutes or so.
All right, let's take some questions because this isn't moving very fast.
Right. Okay. This is from member Evan Soloway. They say, has January 6th become America's Tiananmen Square?
I'd say in some ways not as bad as Tiananmen Square, not as many deaths as a result, but in some ways worse than Tiananmen Square. Tiananmen Square was a symbolic demonstration. It had no effect on overturning the regime by itself. On January 6th, there was an attempted coup, an attempt to impede for the first time in over 200 years the peaceful transfer of power and launch a violent coup to overturn a fair, secure, democratic election.
From member Michael Gonzalez, they say, who would you consider to be the most impactful vice president to never become president? That's an interesting question.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. Dick Cheney was certainly up there. The recently deceased Dick Cheney absolutely was one of the most influential. On the Democratic side, probably Al Gore and Joe Biden.
Joe Biden did become president.
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot the other part of the clause.
Right,
so
right.
Al Gore.
Al Gore. Yeah, that's true. So let me ask you a question about this election. What happened here? Again, we had seemed like a pretty robust Emerson poll saying that it was a 2-point differential.
But that was an outlier.
What do you mean by that?
Most of the other polls had a much larger margin, somewhere around 8 points. So if you averaged it out, it would be somewhere around 5.
Right.
Which is probably going to be close. I think she'll do better than 5.
She is at 8 right now. She's 8.
Yeah, but there's still a lot
down.
to come in from Nashville.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Nothing else has come in from Nashville. Montgomery County is now 70% in.
And it's flipped.
It's flipped. These two are about the same that last time we checked.
So I think it'll be under 5 points. So the polls were not too far off. Unless something strange happens and she wins, but we already called it.
She's not going to win. It's not
No, we already
possible.
called it.
She cannot win. $5 donation from Comic Fan. They say, thoughts on Ronald Reagan's son saying that his father would not like the current Republican Party and Trump.
Oh, Ronald Reagan would certainly not like the current Republican Party. Ronald Reagan mouthed the words of the culture wars of the time, which were not nearly as bitter as the culture wars launched by Donald Trump. But that was never something he was invested in, something he believed in. He just talked the talk. He never prioritized any of the issues of the culture warriors. He'd be appalled by the way Donald Trump exploits religion, racism, misogyny. And Ronald Reagan was welcoming and supportive of immigrants. You know, he did not in any way match the virulent, racist, anti-immigrant rhetoric and policies of the Trump administration. Obviously, in some ways, I talked about foreign policy, and also obviously on tax cuts and deregulation, they would be much more in sync. It's already down to under 5 points.
Yes, Ben has made up some ground as we were speaking. That's because we got another 16% of the vote in, now at 71% of the total vote in from Davidson County, which is part of Nashville City. Her percent lead has decreased by 3%.
As we predicted.
As we predicted, she was at 85%. Now she's at 82. She just went up. No, she just went down a little bit more. So he gained a little bit more. We're back to, we're at 6% now.
6%.
He's a 6-point lead. Davidson County did help her a little bit, but not enough.
No, it can't possibly be enough. There's already, close to 80%?
Yeah, she has slipped a little bit more, I guess, as these other counties are getting in. It's Williamson County, 78%, and he's gained his lead. He went from 55% to 59%, and now he's at 60%.
Remember we said she had to hold at 55 and had to hold close to 85 in Davidson. And what's that one up top?
Montgomery.
And keep her lead in Montgomery. None of that happened.
None of that happened.
None of that happened.
Ooh, yeah.
And we didn't think it would happen. That's why we called it first here on Litchman Live.
Yes.
We beat everybody in the nation. As we did on election night in New Jersey and Virginia.
And I think we called it pretty early in 2024 as well.
We were first to call it for Trump as much as it pained us.
It's so funny. Everybody thinks, you picked Kamala because you're this, Democrat operative. Again, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any logical sense. But also, why would you be the first one to call it?
Right.
If you were some Dem, you'd probably make excuses.
Well, my first call had been Ronald Reagan.
Good point, Dan. That's all nonsense. I mean, people who say
or
that.
Trump in 2016.
Yeah. She's slipping. She is slipping. 80% of the vote
Yeah, that's
now
why she's slipping.
From Montgomery County. Still have about, 29% of the vote to go in Davidson.
It's going to knock it down, I believe, below 5%. But nowhere near enough for her to win.
We have 1,900 likes. We're 100 likes away from 2,000.
Let's get there. Please. I'll take more questions.
Really?
If you give me more likes.
Really?
Yes. As tired as I am, I will do it.
Okay, let's get another question in for you. Why did the Shah, who modernized Iran so quickly, still lose the support of so many Iranians? That's a question out of left field.
Because he was a brutal, repressive dictator, even though he did a lot of good things. But he was another example of one of those dictators who we supported. And there was a popular Islamicist revolution against the Shah, who was not an Islamicist and who had repressed his people despite doing some very good things in Iran.
This is from James LaGruta, a sports question.
No, I might leave that to Sam.
They want to know. No, it's about your sports.
Oh.
They want to know your thoughts on the current state of the New York Giants.
Oh, my God. How much lower can you go? But, when a team is perpetually, or at least over the long term, stuck in the cellar, it's almost always because they have terrible management. And unfortunately, the slowpoke, clueless owners of the Giants were way behind the 8 ball in cleaning house. They should have gotten rid of this regime wholesale long time ago. Instead, they're doing it piecemeal. First, we'll get rid of the head coach. Then we'll get rid of the offensive coordinator. But we'll still keep everybody else in place. That doesn't work. Still have time. Time to clean house before the draft, which is what, in April?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are primary parties partially to blame for the political divide as they allow party bosses to favor loyalists and unpopular incumbents over independents and newcomers? And should they be abolished?
Should what be abolished? I don't quite understand the question.
I guess party primaries?
No, they shouldn't be abolished. Party primaries were developed in the early 20th century. The first major presidential primary contest was Theodore Roosevelt, the insurgent who had been former president, against his hand-picked successor, who he soured on, William Howard Taft. And this was a blow against the bosses. So even though Roosevelt trounced Taft in the primaries, most delegates were still selected by the bosses, who would be beholden to the sitting president. And so Taft was nominated, and Roosevelt, who was actually more popular, ran an independent campaign, progressive party campaign, sometimes called the Bull Moose campaign, in which he got more votes than the incumbent Republican president, 27% to 24%. So primaries were a blow against boss-controlled delegates. And it wasn't, however, until the 1970s that both parties came around to the view that all delegates, except eventually superdelegates, had to be selected not by the party bosses, but in open primaries or caucuses.
Do you have a favorite cigar?
Yes. Davidson, Churchill, Winston Churchill.
He's still gaining. Is
he up by how much? 8?
8 percentage points. He was at 8, then